Boeing says is operating in what it considers the most complex environment it's seen since World War II, from record demand for commercial jets and defense platforms to strains in the supply chain and geopolitical headwinds. CNA's Ronan Lim caught up with the president of Boeing Global, who gave his reasons for why he is still bullish.
China's government has reportedly ordered its domestic airlines to stop accepting deliveries of Boeing jets and to halt purchases of aircraft parts from the U.S.
Boeing, once the trusted builder of Air Force One and a century-long symbol of American innovation, is now facing sharp penalties, not for failure, but for trying to stay competitive. In a strategic effort to reduce costs and manage a global supply chain crisis, the company shifted part of its aircraft production to Mexico. The move was modest, aimed at survival in an increasingly complex manufacturing landscape. But instead of receiving support, Boeing was met with a harsh rebuke from Washington, specifically a proposed 200% tariff and a direct call from President Trump. The message was blunt: build everything in America or face severe consequences. No negotiations, no exemptions, just a new standard set by political pressure. And when Boeing stood its ground, the global fallout began. China responded swiftly, suspending billions in aircraft orders and introducing its own retaliatory tariffs on U.S.-made planes and parts, some as high as 125%. Jets bound for Chinese airlines were abruptly canceled or rerouted, with some even returning mid-route to Seattle. One such aircraft, meant for Gene Airlines, symbolized the disruption, completing a full round trip across the Pacific without ever entering service. On the ground, the impact was immediate. In Wichita, Kansas, and Everett, Washington, both home to major Boeing operations, workers faced reduced hours, halted supplier contracts, and growing economic uncertainty. All of this unfolded not through international trade summits or formal negotiations, but via a single private call between President Trump and Boeing CEO Kelly or Berg. That one conversation set off a chain reaction felt across continents and communities alike. Boeing, once a badge of national pride, now finds itself entangled in the unpredictable forces of modern geopolitics and domestic economic nationalism. In the end, it's not just Boeing navigating turbulent skies, it's the thousands of workers, engineers, and suppliers who are left to weather the storm. If even Boeing faces this level of pressure for operating globally, what future does that hold for the rest of American industry? Boeing CEO Kelly or Berg didn't stay silent in the face of criticism. He went public and stood his ground. Rather than treating the company's move to shift some production to Mexico as a political misstep, Ortberg framed it as a strategic decision driven by global realities. He emphasized that Boeing's goal was not to challenge patriotism, but to stay competitive in a world where demand from Asia and Latin America continues to surge. In his words, "We are not political pawns. We build airplanes that people need and airlines can actually afford." Boeing's production plans reflected that global focus. According to Bloomberg, Ortberg projected that by mid-2025, Boeing would produce 38 of its 737 MAX jets per month, with a target of reaching 42 per month by the end of the year. It was a clear signal. Boeing was determined to rebuild and scale up operations, regardless of political tensions. Boeing's own 2025 commercial market outlook reinforced this strategy, forecasting demand for approximately 43,600 new aircraft over the next 2 decades. The majority of that demand, it said, would come from China, Southeast Asia, and India, not from domestic political pressure. Industry partners took note. Honeywell, a key supplier for Boeing, raised its 2025 revenue projections by over 10%, citing the aircraft maker's production plans and strong global demand as key drivers. However, U.S. regulators remain cautious. Still recovering from past safety concerns, including the Alaska Airlines Bolt issue, the FAA made it clear that Boeing would not be allowed to increase its monthly production beyond 38 jets without verifiable improvements in quality control. Meanwhile, geopolitical tensions escalated. China delivered a swift response to U.S. pressure, halting Boeing orders and imposing tariffs of up to 125% on American aircraft and parts. Planes that were once set to fly across Asia were now parked in warehouses from Everett to Jim, symbolizing how international business can be disrupted by domestic policy decisions. That single phone call between President Trump and Ortberg had triggered more than a political stir. It sparked a full-blown trade confrontation. The cost: delayed deliveries, frozen jobs, and billions in stranded inventory. But instead of backing down, Boeing pivoted. Ort Berg turned his attention to emerging markets like Southeast Asia, India, and Latin America, regions that remained eager to expand their airline fleets and were far less concerned with the politics behind where a plane is built. According to Boeing's outlook, nearly 60% of the 43,600 aircraft demanded through 2044 will come from these high-growth regions. While some in the U.S. may argue over domestic manufacturing, international buyers are focused on one thing: getting reliable, affordable jets delivered on time. By mid-2025, Boeing had delivered approximately 280 aircraft, according to Forecast International, still trailing Airbus at 306, but steadily closing the gap. June alone saw Boeing roll out 45 jets, a strong sign of progress toward its production goals. The company aimed to reach a monthly output of 38 for the 737 MAX, with plans to produce 787 Dreamliners each month by year's end, and ramp that up to 10 by 2026. But this pivot wasn't just about numbers. It sent a powerful message through the corridors of corporate America. CEOs at companies like Apple, Ford, and Tesla began quietly reconsidering the long-standing hesitation around overseas production. Boeing's move seemed to legitimize a new model: prioritize global competitiveness, even when it challenges domestic political narratives. Still, industry analysts remain cautious. Airbus, with over 60% of the global narrow-body aircraft backlog and cutting-edge models like the A321XLR, continues to lead the pack in innovation and delivery speed. In Europe, Ryanair, a major Boeing customer, hinted it might delay future deliveries if tariffs start impacting aircraft pricing, showing just how fast politics can affect business relationships. Looking ahead, Boeing also faces challenges in preparing for the next generation of aviation. Airbus is already gearing up to produce 75 A320neos per month by 2027. Meanwhile, Boeing remains slowed by ongoing safety restrictions and delayed certifications. Some relief may come from emerging technologies, like GE Safran's new Rise engine, projected to boost fuel efficiency by 20% in the 2030s, but those gains depend on Boeing regaining trust and momentum in innovation. This shift in strategy wasn't just a business move, it was a bold declaration. In today's climate, where patriotism and politics can quickly become business obstacles, Boeing is choosing to move faster, speak clearly, and think globally. In just the first quarter of 2025, Boeing delivered 130 commercial aircraft, up from 83 the year before, and reported an 18% rise in revenue, reaching nearly $19.5 billion. On paper, a modest victory. But the real story is in the fine print. Free cash flow remained tight at $2.3 billion, showing that the company's focus was still on survival, not dominance. Yet, even with financials still shaky, the market responded positively. Boeing's stock jumped after delivering unexpected profits from core operations, outperforming expectations that had predicted far deeper losses. This was supposed to be Boeing's comeback year. But what truly turned around wasn't the balance sheet. It was the perception that Boeing could still fight, adapt, and claw its way back from the edge. Boeing's commercial airplane division saw a 75% surge in revenue, reaching $8.15 billion, a sign of momentum. But beneath the surface, the numbers tell a more complicated story. Despite the revenue spike, the division still posted a $537 million operating loss. Boeing also secured 221 net orders in the quarter, lifting its aircraft backlog to over 5,600 units, estimated to be worth between $460 billion and $545 billion, depending on the category. That massive backlog is now the financial anchor holding Boeing steady, especially as ongoing tariffs continue to cost the company an estimated $500 million annually. Looking ahead, Boeing forecasts delivery of 580 aircraft in 2025, up significantly from 348 in 2024. Production of the 737 MAX is expected to increase from the current limit of 38 jets per month to 42 by year-end, with a goal of reaching 47 monthly sometime in 2025, pending regulatory approval. But even with these targets, the outlook remains fragile. Major clients are watching closely. Ryanair, one of Boeing's largest European customers, has already issued a caution. If tariffs drive aircraft prices higher, it may delay or cancel up to $30 billion in orders, and possibly turn to alternative suppliers like Airbus or Comac. These aren't just hypothetical concerns. They reflect real risks that could jeopardize long-term contract stability. Financially, Boeing is making progress, but it's still climbing uphill. The success of its recovery hinges on three key factors: ramping up production, maintaining customer trust, and avoiding any further political fallout. In today's complex global economy, a company's survival can depend as much on diplomacy as on engineering. In short, Boeing delivered more jets and trimmed some losses, but now the real challenge begins. CEO Kelly Ortberg has positioned 2025 as Boeing's turnaround year. In Q1 alone, the company delivered 130 commercial aircraft and reported $19.5 billion in revenue, an 18% year-over-year increase. Still, free cash flow dropped by $2.3 billion. It's progress, but far from victory. Boeing's per-share loss narrowed from -56 to -16, a clear improvement, but the company is still operating in the red.a quieter move. Boeing sold off part of its digital portfolio, including Yepon, for $10.55 billion. The proceeds will help reduce debt and refocus efforts on core aerospace operations. Some see it as a smart pivot. Others say it's a necessary response to the pressure of rising tariffs. Time will tell. Now comes the critical test: sustainability. Boeing's 2024 sustainability report and the unveiling of its new Eco-Demonstrator X 66 aircraft signal a push toward cleaner aviation. But the road is long. In 2024, sustainable aviation fuel, SAF, made up just 0.3% of all jet fuel used. Even with projected growth, SAF supply may only reach 9 to 12 million tons by 2030, still about 30% short of the International Energy Agency's targets for meeting global climate goals. Boeing has committed to making SAF a core part of its environmental strategy. But critics argue that public promises need to be matched with faster, tangible results, especially after previous safety incidents, like 2 fatal 737 MAX crashes and the 2025 mid-air door issue, continue to shadow the company's credibility. Boeing's recovery, both financially and reputationally, is still in progress. And in an era where global trade, sustainability, and safety are more intertwined than ever, the path forward will require more than numbers. It'll require trust, discipline, and a willingness to adapt faster than the turbulence around it. For Boeing to truly secure its future over the next decade, it needs to offer more than just aircraft. It must deliver transparency, build resilient and diversified supply chains, and make visible, measurable progress in sustainable aviation. Without that, the company risks becoming a case study in how patriotic slogans can turn into strategic setbacks. Because in 2025, rhetoric won't lift off if planes are grounded and green pledges feel as empty as in used hangars. We've all seen Boeing's high-stakes journey unfold, starting with tariff threats from the US, followed by China freezing orders, and ending with a global pivot to emerging markets. But behind these dramatic headlines lies a more important question. What is this new definition of economic patriotism actually costing everyday Americans? Let's look ahead. Global demand for air travel is projected to reach 108% of pre-pandemic levels in 2025. Over the long term, passenger traffic is expected to grow by 3.6% annually through 2044. That translates into a market need for approximately 43,600 new aircraft, not political speeches, but real planes that can be delivered on time to airlines across the world. And here's the deeper irony. The push for domestic-only production may sound patriotic, but airlines care about reliability, affordability, and timeliness, not press briefings or political symbolism. The International Air Transport Association, IATA, estimates that reaching net zero carbon emissions by 2050 will require $4.7 trillion in investment. Airlines would rather put that money into next-gen fuel-efficient aircraft and sustainable technologies, not navigate pricing swings driven by policy shifts. Boeing has shown signs of progress this quarter. The company ramped up production, secured orders in emerging markets, and reduced its losses. But industry trust remains fragile. The competition is heating up fast. Airbus continues to dominate the global backlog. Comac is gaining traction in new territories, and even long-time customers like Ryanair are exploring alternative suppliers if prices rise. So what's really at stake? If policies rooted in national loyalty result in delays, inefficiencies, and rising ticket prices, then it's not just Boeing that suffers. It's travelers, workers, and the entire aerospace ecosystem. Boeing, once a cornerstone of American manufacturing, now finds itself navigating a global environment where success demands speed, agility, and strategic diplomacy. Here's the bottom line. Boeing isn't just shipping aircraft, it's sending a message. After delivering 130 planes, posting $19.5 billion in revenue, an 18% year-over-year increase, and cutting quarterly losses to $31 million, the company is still facing a $2.3 billion free cash flow deficit. That's not a victory lap. It's a controlled descent from deeper financial challenges. Boeing's financials may be showing improvement, but the reality underneath is far more complicated. The numbers look better, yet the challenges remain serious. At the same time, the global aviation industry is under immense pressure to go green, and fast. Boeing has introduced its Eco Demonstrator program and signaled support for sustainable aviation fuel, SAF, but the progress is slow. In 2024, SAF made up just 0.3% of global jet fuel usage, nowhere near the scale needed to meet net zero goals. According to the International Air Transport Association, IATA, achieving net zero emissions by 2050 will require an investment of $4.7 trillion across the aviation industry. Airlines are making it clear they would rather channel those funds into innovation and fuel efficiency than navigate the instability caused by international tariffs. Here's the deeper irony. Calls to Buy American may sound patriotic, but when they result in higher prices, lost contracts, and eroded public trust, the strategy risks backfiring. Airbus is widening its lead, Comac is expanding into new markets, and even Boeing's loyal customers like Ryanair have suggested they might look elsewhere if costs continue to rise. So what's truly at risk? It's not just the planes, it's public confidence. When patriotism is used as a policy tool, but that policy hurts competitiveness and production, the consequences go far beyond the factory floor. If a legacy company like Boeing, once a symbol of American industrial excellence, must expand operations abroad just to survive, what message does that send to workers and communities back home? In 2025, patriotic messaging may work on campaign posters, but in the aerospace industry, it can't replace trust, delivery performance, or market leadership. Boeing managed to deliver 130 aircraft, brought in $19.5 billion in revenue, an 18% year-over-year increase, and reduced its losses to just $31 million. Free cash flow remains negative at $2.3 billion, a clear improvement over previous years, but still far from stability. The big picture is this: Boeing made real progress, but the hardest work lies ahead. The aviation sector's green future hinges on scaling sustainable aviation fuel and cutting carbon emissions, not escalating trade tensions. IATA estimates that most of the $4.7 trillion cost to reach net zero will be spent on SAF, not tariffs, not subsidies, but actual green infrastructure. And this is where the pressure intensifies. If the focus remains on short-term political gains rather than long-term innovation and transparency, Boeing and the broader U.S. manufacturing sector risks losing its edge. Boeing's next chapter won't be shaped by slogans or social media headlines. It will depend on real leadership, bold investments in sustainability, and a global strategy that proves performance and patriotism don't have to be at odds. The question now is simple. Should Boeing have stuck to domestic-only production, risking long-term viability? Or was expanding globally the right move to protect jobs, stay competitive, and meet rising international demand?